Developing now, a grand jury in Chicago has returned 16 felony charges against Empire actor Jussie Smollett. Smollett is accused of misleading police about an alleged racist and homophobic attack in January. ET's Brendan Jeffrian has a copy of the indictment. Brendan, what can you tell us?
Yeah, guys, so this indictment came from the Cook County grand jury in Chicago. They returned it. It's a 16-count felony indictment, as you mentioned, against Jussie. This happening yesterday in court. And remember, this is all because they claim he filed a false police report. Now, last month, as we know, he was charged by the state attorney's office with one count of disorderly conduct for allegedly staging the attack he claims happened. The grand jury reportedly handed up two sets of charges, one for his initial report to police, and the other based on the other charges are based on his second interview with police. So basically what I'm holding here is the indictment, and it's two interviews that he did with two different police officers that were a part of the investigation. We have talked about this. 12 detectives were assigned to this case. But just to kind of get now to the indictment and what is going on here, for example, he told police that he was the victim of a battery, a hate crime, and an aggravated battery. And looking at both interviews he did with police, I have two of them here in front of me. For example, in one interview, he told the officer that he fought back against his alleged attackers, that one of his attackers was a white male and was wearing something around their face, but he could see an open eye area showing the color of the alleged attacker's skin. That's in one police interview that he did. In a second police interview that he did, he gave this officer details that his attackers used racial and homophobic slurs, that they struck Jussie on his face with their hands, causing bodily harm to him. So essentially what's going on here is police have these two reports from two different officers that met with him soon after the attack happened. And in one report it says some things, and in the other report it mentions other things.
Okay, Brendan, my question is, what's next for Jussie? You know, we know that he is now charged with 16 felony counts. When are we going to see him in court next?
Right, he is set to appear in court this next Thursday, March 14th. So, of course, we'll be closely monitoring that. Now, as for what's next for him with these 16 counts that have come down out of Chicago yesterday, is that he could face probation or up to 3 years in prison per count, per each of the 16 counts.
And some people think
if convicted, though, it's important to mention
that's potentially 48
convicted.
years. Yeah.
Oh,
correct.
Wow. Yeah. Well, some people honestly think that he's just going to get a slap on the wrist. I just want to know your opinion from reading everything. Brendan, what do you think?
You know, it's really hard to tell. Like I said, I mean, we're here with these two different interviews that he did with police. We don't really know the timing of the interview. We could speculate, but obviously we don't want to do that. But just kind of reading through it, you know, one of the interviews with one of the officers, almost you can kind of tell, okay, this is probably the interview that happened when he reported it that night in January or early that morning after the attack when the police first met with him. And then based on the other interview, you kind of read it as if this is maybe a follow-up interview with this detective that happened after the first interview, but it's just hard to tell, and obviously we don't want to speculate that. But like I said, you know, in one interview it mentions, you know, that he told officers that his alleged attackers used the homophobic slurs and the racial slurs. Then in the second interview, that's, you know, maybe not made clear, but he does mention that he claims he fought back and stuff. So there's just this is kind of what they based it all on.
Okay.
This has been one of the biggest stories of the year, and I think is going to continue for several weeks and months as we probably get into a trial. Brendan, thank you so very much.
Thanks, Brendan.
Thanks, guys.
Smollett and his attorneys have denied all allegations. His next court appearance, like Brendan mentioned, is March 14th.